And we are following our breaking news here in Nashville tonight, where protesters, which really started all of this about 3 hours ago at 7 o'clock and have now taken over part of the interstate in Nashville, are on the move.
That's right. Let's go back out live to Chris Cannon. Chris?
And Rory, as you can see now, the protests are just making their way off of the interstate. They're going down the on-ramp and down onto Interstate Drive down there by the Shoney's and LP Field. You can see, though, that the interstate is still closed in both directions. I suspect it would open up in one direction shortly. We've been off of that side of the interstate for some time. But these folks right here, they've been sitting there for a good half hour now, stuck in traffic. Traffic around the interstate loop here in downtown Nashville is probably at a standstill. I'm not sure if Sky 5 HD is still up there so we can get a look of what we are doing right now in this situation as far as traffic. And you can see from high above just the impact that this is having on traffic around the downtown loop of Nashville right now. That interstate's still not open on that side. Again, this has been a peaceful protest. They've been chanting the entire time, but it's been peaceful the entire time. Police have been cooperating with them. They've been cooperating with police. They really have for the last 3 hours and 15 minutes that this has been going on. Again, if you're just joining us, this started as a vigil at the CJC at 7 o'clock this evening. Then it started to move onto the streets of downtown Nashville around 7:20, went through the streets of downtown Nashville, went down Broadway, back up 5th Avenue, and then they crossed the Cumberland River and onto the interstate. They went on the interstate one time, walked up back to Shelby Avenue, then over to the Casey Homes. They stayed there for quite some time, then back onto the interstate just before 10 o'clock. The interstate's been shut down since about 9:45. Now we're making our way down onto Interstate Drive here right at the Shoney's and LP Field. If you're familiar with the downtown area, if they followed the same path they took, they would go back up to James Robertson and then across the river back to the CJC where they started. But again, this protest has really been by the seat of its pants all evening long. No really rhyme or reason. They've kind of just been going with the flow, and that's where it has taken us for the last 3 hours and 15 minutes. Rory, Jessica.
All right, Chris, and a much smaller crowd now, as you see there, and pretty soon the traffic backed up on Interstate 24, I would imagine, would start moving as this group heads back toward downtown Nashville.
Yeah, and this is one, of course, we'll continue to follow, but again, want to point out it's been a peaceful evening here in Nashville, and we'll be hearing about it more tomorrow, too, I'm sure, in comparison to what's happening in other cities all around the country.
Chris, thanks.